Your car is crushing a busy highway, dodging traffic, slick lane changes. It's like it's reading minds. And you're just supervising. This isn't a movie, guys. For tons of Tesla owners, this is real life. But how does a car even see, think, and react like that? Get ready for this. Q1 2025, Tesla had one crash for every 7.44 million miles with Autopilot on. How does a machine do that? Tesla's Autopilot system is absolutely wild, a total masterpiece of engineering. Think of it like a mega orchestra of hardware and software, all built to see the world and drive through it, getting more and more independent. But for so many people, how it actually works is a giant mystery, like some high-tech black box. Today, we are tearing the curtain down. We're gonna break down the nuts and bolts of Tesla's Autopilot, showing you how it went from a basic single camera to today's crazy multi-camera setups and the custom-built full self-driving computer. This is the real story of how Autopilot really works. Tesla's Autopilot didn't just magically appear. It's been a non-stop roller coaster of epic upgrades and huge leaps in what the tech can do. It all blasted off in September 2014 with a Hardware 1.0 HW1. Cars made till October 2016 got a single front camera, a Bosch radar that could see like 525 feet, and 12 ultrasonic sensors for close-up stuff about 16 feet. The brains? This first setup was the OG, bringing us stuff like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, and even automated parking. Then, boom! October 2016, Hardware 2.0 HW2 hits the scene. This was gigantic because it showed Tesla was dead serious about making its own vision processing, a must-have for their self-driving dreams. HW2 massively upgraded the sensors, jumping to 8 cameras, giving 360-degree vision. This multi-camera setup? Totally Tesla's signature move. Tesla said this new gear could process 200 frames per second and had what it needed for full self-driving at SAE Level 5, though that's still loading. About a year later, around August 2017, Tesla dropped Hardware 2.5, HW 2.5T. It was a stepping stone, building on that 8-camera system and prepping for an even bigger jump. This hardware also unlocked features like the dash cam and Sentry mode, a game changer for recording video. March-April 2019, with Hardware 3.0 HW3, also known as the FSD Computer 1. Built from scratch by Tesla, this beast was made for the insane calculations of autonomous driving and neural networks. And it just keeps going with what Hardware 4.0, HW4, or FSD Computer 2. This started popping up in new Model S and X vehicles late 2022, then some Model Ys, and the new Model 3 Highland in 2023. HW4 has upgraded cameras with way better resolution and wider views, feeding the system even richer visual info. The FSD Computer 2 itself is reportedly about 3 to 5 times more powerful for inference than HW3, with some saying it could eventually be up to 5 times better overall. It also packs more RAM and storage. Crazy thing. HW4 brought back a new radar module, though Tesla's still laser-focused on its vision system. Looking even further, Tesla's already teasing Hardware 5.0 HW5, or AI5 internally. Expected around December 2025 or January 2026, HW5 is set to be roughly 10 times more powerful than HW4, and maybe up to 50 times better just for inference power. This next-gen hardware will suck more power, signaling a massive jump in processing muscle, all for tackling even harder self-driving situations. This relentless hardware grind, from one camera to custom supercomputers, just shows how aggressively Tesla is chasing self-driving tech. Core mechanics The How It Works deep dive. To really get Autopilot, we gotta look at its main parts. The sensors that are its eyes, the software and neural networks that are its brain, and the powerful computer that's its engine. The eyes, a sensor feast. The heart of how Autopilot sees is a crazy set of sensors, with cameras taking the spotlight. This all-around vision is key to spotting lanes, traffic, people, signs, everything. A huge strategic move for Tesla was the shift to Wash Tesla Vision. This means leaning super heavily on cameras, relying more and more on smart image processing and neural networks to understand what they see. Kinda like us humans. This was bold, since radar was loved for seeing through bad weather and measuring distance and speed. But Tesla thinks a super advanced vision-only system can actually beat systems with multiple sensor types, avoiding confusing sensor data. With them gone, Tesla is betting on its vision-based occupancy network to do these jobs. This network uses cameras to build a detailed 3D map of what's right around the car. While this switch had some bumps and user worries, especially for tight parking or blocked cameras, Tesla is confident that software updates will make it a better system. Historically, radar gave critical distance and speed data. Ultrasonic sensors gave precise short-range info. Tesla ditching these shows their insane faith in cameras and the neural networks that read all that visual data. They argue that by focusing only on vision, they can build a simpler, more reliable system because, hey, human drivers mostly use their eyes. The brain, software, and neural networks, or that raw data from the cameras. Just the start. The real magic of Autopilot is how this flood of information is processed and understood by its unbelievably complex software, all built around artificial intelligence, specifically deep neural networks. Tesla's Autopilot uses powerful in-car computers to run these neural networks in real time. These networks work kinda like the human brain, learning from massive amounts of data to spot patterns, identify objects, and make predictions. Early on, Tesla's AI would look at individual camera frames one by one, then try to stitch them together. That was, as they said, a bit brittle. Over time, Tesla upgraded to what they call a multi-camera video universe. Here, the AI sucks in feeds from all 8 cameras at once to create a single unified 3D vector space picture of the world. This gives it a much richer understanding. A super cool idea in Tesla's neural network setup is HydraNets, as Andrej Karpathy, Tesla's former AI boss, called it. Imagine a neural network with a shared body processing all initial sensor data. Then, this body splits into multiple heads, each a specialist. So, one head finds lane lines, another spots vehicles, a third IDs pedestrians, and another predicts where stuff is going. This multitask learning lets the system do many perception jobs at the same time super efficiently without one messing up another. These neural networks are trained to do things like semantic segmentation, figuring out if each pixel is road, sky, car, person, etc., object detection, and motion tracking. And these networks are always learning, thanks to all the data they get. Tesla uses fleet learning. Millions of Teslas on the road are constantly gathering data from all sorts of driving situations. This real-world driving data, billions of miles, is fed back to train and improve the neural networks. If the system sees something tricky or a driver takes over, that data can be flagged and sent to Tesla for engineers to check out. This helps them find weaknesses, create new training examples, and make the AI better. Tesla also uses clever auto-labeling and simulations to create training data, especially for rare or dangerous stuff. Then, improvements and new features get beamed out to the whole fleet through over-the-air OTA software updates. This means every Tesla with the right hardware gets smarter and safer over time from the collective experience of all other Teslas. No service center visit needed. This cycle of data collection, training, and OTA updates is pure Tesla. To handle the mind-blowing number crunching needed for these complex neural networks, Tesla even built its own supercomputer, Dojo. Dojo is designed to process huge amounts of video data super efficiently, speeding up autopilot development like crazy. Ultimately, the software takes all this processed info and makes the critical driving decisions: when to steer, speed up, brake, and which path to take. It's a constant loop of seeing, predicting, planning, and acting, all in fractions of a second. The engine, the full self-driving FSD computer dealing with a flood of data from multiple high-res cameras and running complex neural networks in the blink of an eye, takes an incredible amount of computing horsepower. Standard processors? Not gonna cut it for Tesla's vision. So they decided to design their own custom silicon, the full self-driving FSD computer. The first version, with hardware 3.0 in 2019, is an absolute beast. The FSD chip is a system-on-a-chip, SoC, using Samsung's 14-nanometer process. It's a 260 square millimeter silicon monster packed with over 6 billion transistors. At its core, it has 12 64-bit ARM Cortex A72 CPUs in 3 groups of 4, running up to 2.2 GHz. Some say 2.6 GHz for HW3. These CPUs handle general tasks. Alongside them is a Mali 71 MP12 GPU running at 1 GHz, mostly for your display and some final processing. But the real heroes on the FSD chip are its 2 custom-designed Neural Processing Units, NPUs, or Neural Network Accelerators. These NPUs are built to do the math for neural networks, and they do it crazy fast and efficiently. Each NPU runs at 2 GHz and has a 96x96 multiply accumulate MAC array. Together, these 2 NPUs in HW3 deliver a peak performance of around 72 trillion operations per second, tops, though Tesla sometimes claims 144 tops for the whole FSD computer system, which actually has 2 FSD chips for backup. To give you an idea, Tesla said their HW3 FSD chip could process images at 2300 frames per second, a huge leap. The chip also has fast LPDDR4 RAM and an advanced image signal processor, ISP, that handles up to 1 billion pixels per second from the 8 cameras, doing things like adjusting brightness and reducing noise. Get this, the FSD computer in a Tesla actually has 2 of these FSD chips working in a redundant setup. This is a super important safety feature. The system constantly checks results from both chips. If they disagree or one fails, the system can still operate safely. Mind blown! With hardware 4.0, the FSD Computer 2 gets even better. It sticks with Samsung Exynos, but CPU cores on each side jump from 12 to 20, with a top speed of 2.35 GHz. Neural network accelerator performance is beefed up, reportedly hitting up to 50 tops per NPU. Though numbers vary, others say the system is 3 to 5 times better than HW3. The HW4 board also has more RAM, 16 GB versus 8 GB in HW3, and more storage, 256 GB versus maybe 64 GB in HW3. And like we said, hardware 5.0, AI5, promises another massive jump in processing power, aiming for roughly 10 times what HW4 can do. This ongoing development of custom hardware is absolutely key to Tesla's strategy. It lets them design the processing architecture perfectly for their neural networks, squeezing out the best performance, power efficiency, and cost. Pretty wild, right? Going from one camera to a custom-designed supercomputer on wheels. If you're loving this deep dive into Tesla's Autopilot guts, do us a huge favor and smash that thumbs up button. It really helps us make more content like this for you, putting it all together, seeing and reacting in the real world. So you've got powerful sensors, smart software, and a custom computer. Amazing, but making them all work together smoothly to handle the unpredictable chaos of public roads. That's a whole other level. Let's see how these parts team up to make Autopilot's key features so awesome. Basic Autopilot functions, standard on all new Teslas since April 2019, include traffic-aware cruise control, TACC, and auto steer. TACC uses the front cameras and previously radar to spot vehicles ahead, automatically adjusting your Tesla's speed to keep a set distance. Car in front slows down, your Tesla slows down. It speeds up. Your Tesla accelerates, but only to your set speed. The system is constantly processing visual data to ID vehicles and figure out their speed and distance. And auto takes the tack up a notch by also handling steering to keep the car centered in a clearly marked lane. The cameras identify lane markings, road edges, and other visual clues. The neural networks then crunch this info to figure out the lane's shape and calculate the exact steering inputs needed even around gentle curves. Early versions felt a bit, well, robotic, but with better hardware and software, the steering is so much smoother and more human-like. For even more advanced stuff, Tesla offers enhanced autopilot and full self-driving FSD capability, which is currently FSD supervised. And Navigate on Autopilot in these packages kicks highway driving assistance into overdrive. Put a destination in the nav, and Navigate on Autopilot can guide the car from on-ramp to off-ramp. It'll suggest lane changes to pass slower cars or prep for exits, and, depending on your settings and location, it can even make those changes with your OK, or sometimes automatically. It also handles highway interchanges. This means the system doesn't just see what's immediately around it. It needs to understand the bigger picture of your route and make long-term strategic choices. Insane. That automatic lane change helps you slide into the next lane when you hit the turn signal, or does it automatically in some FSD versions. The system uses side and rear cameras to check for cars in your blind spot and make sure the next lane is clear. The FSD computer and neural networks are constantly analyzing where surrounding vehicles are and how fast they're going to make this call safely. And traffic light and stop sign control is a huge feature of FSD capability. Using front cameras, the system spots traffic lights and stop signs. The neural networks figure out their state, red, yellow, or green, and will slow the car to a stop. This takes sophisticated object recognition and an understanding of traffic rules. The car can then go, with drivers OK, when it's safe and legal. Auto Park helps with parking. The system uses cameras and previously ultrasonic sensors to find perfect parallel or perpendicular spots. Pick a spot, and the car automatically controls steering, gas, and brakes to slide right in. Recent updates made Auto Park even better. Just tap a detected spot on the screen to start parking. Summon menu and Smart Summon let you move the car remotely with the Tesla app. Basic Summon moves the car forward or backward in a straight line. Super handy for tight spots. Smart Summon is more advanced. It can navigate complex parking lots to come find you, steering around obstacles on its own. This really shows off the system's ability to plan paths at low speeds and avoid objects, all without anyone in the driver's seat. All these features depend on that constant back and forth between what sensors see how the neural network interprets it, and the FSD computer's super-fast decisions. The car builds a live 3D model of its surroundings, filling it with cars, pedestrians, cyclists, lane lines, road edges, traffic signals, and more. The software then tries to predict what these things will do next and plans a safe path forward, always adjusting based on new info. It really shows how far these complex, integrated systems have come, navigating the hurdles, challenges, and limitations. As amazing as it is, Tesla Autopilot isn't perfect. It's super important to understand its limits and the challenges it still faces. One big problem area is environmental constraints. The vision-based system can struggle if cameras are dirty or blocked by mud, snow, or ice. Really bad weather like heavy rain, thick fog, or snow can also mess with camera visibility and how well the system works. If lane markings are faded, unclear, or just not there, autosteer can have a tough time staying in the lane. Bright light, like sun glaring into a camera or oncoming headlights at night, can also temporarily blind the cameras, and performance can sometimes die in tunnels or near highway dividers where visual cues are scarce or confusing. There are also technical limitations that are just part of today's tech. While autopilot can read speed limit signs, it might not always adjust to changing speed limits instantly or perfectly, especially in tricky zones. The system can sometimes have a hard time with really winding roads or super sharp curves that need more aggressive steering than it's designed for. Braking on steep hills or certain road conditions might not be as good as you'd hope. And a common complaint is phantom braking, where the car might randomly hit the brakes for no clear reason, sometimes because it misinterpreted sensor data or got confused by a complex scene. Sensor limitations. Even with those advanced cameras, are still a thing. The system might not detect every single object, especially small ones, partly hidden things, or things that pop up at very high speeds. For example, debris in your lane might not always trigger the right evasive action. While Tesla has gone all in on vision, some argue that no radar or LiDAR removes a safety net, particularly for measuring distance and speed in bad weather. Though Tesla is betting its vision system can crush these issues, some users have also raised concerns about how well Tesla Vision alone handles parking, especially in very tight spots or with low-lying obstacles cameras might miss. And this is mega important. Current Tesla Autopilot and full self-driving supervised features are at SA Level 2 automation. This means they are advanced driver assistance systems, not fully autonomous systems. The driver absolutely has to stay fully attentive, keep their hands on the steering wheel, or be ready to grab it instantly, and remain in control and responsible for the vehicle at all times. The system does not make the car self-driving. Seriously, the road ahead, safety, regulation, and the future. When you roll out crazy advanced systems like autopilot, questions about safety and regulations explode. Tesla often points to the safety benefits. They release quarterly safety reports comparing accident rates for cars using autopilot versus those not using it, and against the US national average. For instance, in Q1 2025, Tesla reported one crash for every 7.44 million miles driven with autopilot on, compared to one crash for every 1.51 million miles for Teslas without autopilot active. The US average 2023 data was one accident every 702,000 miles. Tesla says this better safety record is thanks to ongoing software updates driven by data from over 9 billion miles of real-world driving, which improve features like lane keeping and emergency braking. However, the system has also been under a lot of scrutiny. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, in the US, has investigated several crashes involving Teslas where autopilot was on. Some investigations focused on incidents near first responder scenes or raised concerns about whether the system does enough to make sure the driver is paying attention. In December 2023, this led to a recall of about 2 million Tesla vehicles to update software and add stronger driver monitoring. But even with those changes, NHTSA has kept a close eye on the system, opening more investigations in 2024 into how effective that recall was, and looking into crashes in low-visibility conditions where FSD was engaged. Analyzers of federal data have shown hundreds of accidents and a number of deaths linked to autopilot since it launched, though it's always important to consider the context of miles driven and how it compares to human error rates. Looking ahead, Tesla's goal is still crystal clear: to achieve full self-driving FSD, eventually getting to SAE level 4 or 5 autonomy, where the car can drive itself without any human help in most or all conditions. Tesla says getting there requires reliability far in excess of human drivers, as demonstrated by billions of miles of experience, as well as regulatory approval, which might take longer in some places. Elon Musk has made a bunch of predictions over the years about when full autonomy would arrive, though those timelines have often shifted, showing just how unbelievably complex this challenge is. Some folks inside Tesla, like Ashok Eluswamy, head of autopilot software, have even admitted that competitors like Waymo are ahead in certain areas, while Tesla focuses on its scalable, vision-based approach. The path forward involves non-stop improvement through over-the-air software updates, fueled by that ever-growing dataset from the global Tesla fleet, and breakthroughs from tools like the Dojo supercomputer. Hardware will also keep getting better, with HW4 rolling out now and HRW5 AI5 on the horizon, promising a lot more processing power for even smarter neural networks and decision-making. Tesla wants its FSD software to eventually navigate city streets, as well as it handles highways, including making complex turns and dealing with intersections all on its own. The company is also working on making FSD available with more features in more parts of the world, like China and Europe, though local rules often mean capabilities can vary. And the idea of Tesla Robocabs, a fleet of autonomous taxis, is still a long-term goal. But that depends on achieving true level 4 or 5 autonomy and getting the green light from regulators. This journey towards fully autonomous vehicles is one of the most exciting and toughest tech challenges of our time. What are your thoughts on the future of Tesla Autopilot and self-driving in general? Do you think vision only is the way to go? Let us know what you think and any questions you have in the comments below. We read them. To understand Tesla Autopilot is to understand a system that's constantly and rapidly changing. It's a complex mix of advanced cameras, super-fast data networks, custom-designed computer chips, and most importantly, increasingly smart artificial intelligence. From its first steps with a single camera and third-party processing to today's multi-camera, Tesla vision-powered system running on those custom FSD computers, the journey has been one of bold choices and never-ending innovation. If this peek into Tesla Autopilot's mechanics has got you curious, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that notification bell. We'll be doing more deep dives into the fascinating technologies that are shaping our future. Thanks for watching.